Alright everybody, Adam here. Today we are going to be making protein coffee 3 different ways. This is kind of a little bit of a personal experiment. I drink a lot of coffee. I've seen people refer to putting protein powder in their coffee in the past, and particularly as my diet got down to the phases where my calories were very low, my protein needs were very high, it made sense to think, okay, well, what if I can make a coffee where I can take out some of the excess calories that I would be getting from dairy as a creamer and instead try protein powder and see if that works. So I've been using basically instant coffee and vanilla protein powder throughout this video. You could really use real coffee. That feels like, a bit of overkill, pearls before swine, if you will. But, to each your own. And I use the vanilla flavored protein powder. I imagine you could use chocolate or really any flavor. But I think that vanilla works best in terms of, just being kind of more like what you would expect from a coffee flavor mix-in sort of thingy. So starting off, we have got the really basic, just, making some hot coffee, tossing some protein powder in it, seeing how that goes. Now here, the thing you'll see is that this actually is a really frickin' terrible idea. Because of course, protein, when you heat it up enough, it's going to denature a little bit. And so when you're taking basically some boiling hot water and you're tossing some protein powder into it, it's going to get clumpy, it's going to get messy. And I'm not even going to bother trying to drink it. I'm just going to throw it away. It's gross, it's disgusting. And probably the most interesting thing is when I was doing research for this and I was just looking up, all the bloggers and things like that, I didn't see a single one of them mention this. Not one of them was like, hey, definitely don't toss your protein powder in your hot coffee because it's going to get really gross. I don't know why nobody bothered to tell me that. They were just yeah, just toss some protein powder in your hot coffee. It's fine. Nothing will go wrong. What could possibly go wrong? Just do it. Which is did any of you make some of this? Did it not come up? What's going on there? I really want to know. So, anyway, this is attempt number 2, which is to make instead some iced coffee. And this time I was all right, fine. I'm going to make some, proper actual coffee using the French press. And pour it over some ice, let it cool down, then we'll add in the protein powder after that, and that way hopefully we'll get something that mixes better, doesn't denature, doesn't get gross, etc. And I'm doing a really, really slow pour here for the record. I'm just, you're not, this is not your eyes deceiving you. I'm just doing a very slow job of it. Alrighty, so you will see shortly here that this still presents some problems. In particular, obviously, if you are icing some coffee, then you have a core fundamental issue here, which is that protein powder is still very clumpy. So you can either then try to put your protein powder directly into your iced coffee and try and stir that up, and then in that case the ice is going to get in the way, it's going to make things weird, you're not really going to be able to stir as well as thoroughly as you would like, and there's still going to be a lot of clumps. Another option would just be to take another step and then take, of course, your coffee out of your ice, pour it into another container, and then mix it with your protein there. So that's another step that I would have taken if I was less of a himbo and if I had thought ahead a bit more when I was filming this video. I did not think ahead when I was filming this video. That is something that you can always trust. The himbo promise is that I will never think ahead and I will always make mistakes. So as you can see here, it's still a little bit clumpy, but, you know, not the worst thing in the world. It's definitely at least drinkable, you know? Like, I'm making a little bit of a face here because I'm like, oh, clumps. But I mean, that's normal. That's like what you get with protein powder. That's just a thing that happens. I'm so used to it. So, can't really complain too much. So here is the last attempt, the third way, which is to say, what if, you know, knowing what you know about protein powder, knowing what you know about coffee, wouldn't it be easier if you just skipped the heat altogether, you use some instant coffee so that you don't even have to worry about cooling it down, and you just, you know, basically toss some instant coffee in your protein shaker bottle, you toss some protein in your protein shaker bottle, you just shake that whole thing up, right? Like, that's actually not very hard. And at that point, basically what you have is, yes, it's a protein coffee, but I guess you could also just say that it's just a coffee-flavored protein shake, which is basically what it is. It's just a coffee-flavored protein shake with, you know, the caffeine in it as well, which, you know, is still useful, obviously. So this is something that I actually have discovered that I really like to do, especially for early morning workouts. I actually walk a decent distance to my gym. It's about a 20-30 minute walk. And so, you know, like, I have my morning coffee, walk to the gym, have my protein bottle, have my protein after my workout, but sometimes after my workout I'm just a little bit exhausted from all the effort of working out, and then that 20-30 minute walk back home becomes very exhausting, takes longer than it should. So I've discovered that turning that protein shake into a coffee protein shake is actually kind of useful. Yeah, again, this is not the best thing in the world, but it works out. Now, another note here is that I find that the taste of your coffee protein shake, yes, it tastes like coffee, yes, it tastes like protein. At the same time, you still kind of are going to want maybe a little bit of sweetener, maybe a little bit of something added, because while it kind of works as a replacement for a creamer or a milk, it doesn't really quite have the same sweetness that you would expect from a normal coffee. Here I am using some basically vanilla flavored liquid 0-calorie flavoring, which basically just makes it taste a little bit better, a little bit more vanilla-y. You know, the amount of protein in there, again, it's vanilla flavored protein, but the taste is not super strong when you've mixed in the coffee and a bunch of water. So of course, I just toss in a little bit of that extra vanilla flavoring so that it comes out a little bit tastier. And you can see here the end result. Yes, it's still a little bit clumpy. Yes, it's not perfect, but it's a lot better because the shaker bottle works a lot better for getting this all mixed up. And then, of course, at that point, if you let it sit for a little while, everything will blend up anyway. You know, basically everything will dissolve a bit more so long as it just has a bit more time to sit. So, at the end of the day, it is a self-limiting problem. If, for example, I was then to take this to the gym, it'll definitely be all dissolved and mixed together by the time my workout is done and I'm coming back home. So all in all, it's a little bit weird, it's a little bit strange, but it does actually kind of work out. And of course the macros on it are good because this is basically just protein powder. Like, it's just protein, you know, there's not really any added calories from anything else. So it's a great way to get in your caffeine and of course your protein. Have a great day, everybody. Don't hesitate to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you want to see in future videos. I will talk to you all next week. Have a good one.